Beyond the Mic with Sean Dillon.
We're joined on the Starline by one of Sweden's most respected music journalists. He has developed a close relationship with the band ABBA. His book, The Story of ABBA, Melancholy Undercover, is out. We welcome and wish a happy belated birthday to Jan Gradvall.
Thank you.
Jan, let's go beyond the mic. ABBA has been extremely private. What was the key to gaining their trust for the story of ABBA after they hadn't given an interview for nearly 30 years?
They really mistrusted journalists, especially in Sweden, because when they were active, people just asked them about gossip, politics, money. No one asked ABBA questions about music, really. And I've been a music journalist all my life. And I think it was 12 years ago, I became the first journalist to get all four of them to agree to talk for one story. And that story became the seed of this book. And then I think they trusted me. They let me into their world a little bit. And I think Agneta Fältskog, the blonde singer, for instance, when you speak to her about music, she really opens up and tells you personal stuff. I mean, she is the only member in ABBA who could read notes. Very few people know that. She wrote all her own songs as a solo singer in the 60s. She can play classical music fluently on the piano. So when you start talking to them about music, they sort of trust you and open up. And then I felt that I had material for this book.
Does it amaze them that the popularity, even after half a century from when their songs were first recorded, still huge today?
Yes, they had no idea really, because they were active for a quite short time from 1972 to 1982. And then all four members said they thought it was over. And people actually forgot about ABBA for like 10 years until a revival started in the early 90s. So they couldn't even imagine that the songs would be even more popular today than they were back then. I mean, most people who listen to ABBA weren't even born when ABBA were active. And I think there's a timelessness in their songs that has helped them. When you hear a fantastic song by Dillon or the Stones today, you can guess when it was recorded. This must have been recorded mid-60s or early 70s. But when you hear Dancing Queen, The Winner Takes It All, you can't guess when they were recorded. ABBA was sort of outside the pop world then, and they still are. They have this quite odd European sound. They were usually influenced by the Beach Boys, for instance, but they had listened to different kind of European music, and that's why they sound so fresh, I think.
What's the first fact from your research about the band that amazes you?
I think one thing is sort of their background. Frida, for instance, she was born at the end of the Second World War in Norway as the result of a love affair between a German soldier and a teenage Norwegian mother. German occupied Europe. Himmler had this thing called the Lebensborn program, where he sort of encouraged German soldiers to get women pregnant. Really cynical scheme. But then, as we all know, Germany lost the war, and Frida was born in Norway post the end of the World War. And kids, that was the result of love affair between Germans and mothers from their country, were sort of seen as outcasts. They were called Nazi children. So Frida's grandmother took Frida to Sweden, so she could grow up in Sweden instead, which had been neutral during the war. And you have all these sort of backstories. There's very lot of sadness in them. There's a lot of European history in ABBA story.
Jan Gradvall, author of The Story of ABBA, joins us beyond the mic, and it's time for the Rockin' 8. Jan, all this is 8 random questions. Answer with the first thing that comes to your mind. There's no pressure. Which of the more than 30 books you've contributed to didn't get the respect you thought it should have?
I can't. I'm actually happy with them. Boring answer, but the biggest book I ever written is this book about ABBA. As a music writer from Sweden, there's no bigger subject than ABBA.
Best place to see a sunset?
Best place to see a sunset is definitely the northern part of Sweden. There's this midnight sun sunsets and the Swedish landscape are actually reflected in ABBA's music, I think.
Where's your favorite place in Linköping?
That happened to be my hometown as well, where Björn and Benny met and started writing songs together. So the best place in Linköping is the Bench, which is now sort of a memorial thing where they met the first time and started playing Beatles songs. That's the best place.
Are you nearsighted or farsighted?
Nearsighted.
The favorite ABBA song of yours is obviously
Knowing Me, Knowing You.
How about your least favorite?
Sitting in the Palm Tree.
Best thing about your dachshund?
Fantastic. My dachshund, she's 9 years old. She's called Michael. And the best thing is that she keeps you on your toes in every sense. She starts every day with the outlook on the world. This will be a fantastic day, which sort of helps you.
Now, this is a tricky question. The name of the trophy given out annually at the Super Bowl is what?
You have really done your research. I got this question when I competed in How to Be a Millionaire in Sweden, and I didn't know it, I'm afraid to say. So American football, it is nowadays it's big in Sweden. I don't know the answer to that.
It's still the Lombardi Trophy. Let's sneak in one more with Jan Gradvall. His book is The Story of ABBA. And he joins us beyond the mic. He once said, quote, by collecting my journalism, a kind of alternative autobiography emerges, unquote. What is the power of storytelling to you?
I think when I write about music, I become more personal than I had planned to be, really. So I sort of start to tell stories about my parents, about growing up, when I listen to great songs about this. So I think music really is a good starter for your own storytelling. When you hear a song, you start to think of your own life, your own emotion, and a sort of story appears.
Time for one big question, Jan. You've been enjoying a career in music journalism since 1979. How has the way you enjoy music changed from your own fanzine to today?
I started writing in my own punk fanzine when I was 16. And I think nowadays I write for the biggest dailies in Sweden. But I think I do write about music in the same way, actually. I try to communicate what I feel when I listen to the music to listeners. I want more people, this is a fantastic song, this is a fantastic group. I want to put that in my writing.
He loves his dachshund, Maiko, loves Knowing Me, Knowing You, and wants you to read his book, The Story of ABBA. Jan Gradvall, thanks for taking the time to talk with us today.
Thanks for having me.
And that, my friends, is a Beyond the Mic shortcut. If you're enjoying these conversations, please check out another Beyond the Mic episode to find more actors, artists, and people you need to know. We'd also appreciate a like and subscribe on the Good Pods app.